Hi there, and welcome to Scout the Gameweek. Scout the Gameweek is Fantasy Football Scouts' weekly podcast brought to you by the Scout Network. In each episode, we'll look back at the game week we have just played to assess what we can learn to help us in the next round of fixtures. I'm your host, Ryan from Football Chatbox. Let's scout the game week. Game week 13 is almost over, with one more game between Fulham and Wolves to go. To discuss the events of game week 13, I'm joined by Chris, aka El Fozzy. How are you doing, mate? And how has game week 13 gone for you so far?
Hi Ryan. Yeah, I'm all right, mate. I'm okay. It's a Monday, so that's never the best day, right? And it's slightly overcast. So I'm sorry if I'm disappearing into the darkness slightly, but that's okay. But yeah, how's the week gone? Yeah, good. I think it's been okay, but not exceptional. I kept going, why are you saying it's not over? Obviously, there's a match tonight. I don't know who cares about it. I don't. I've got no players anymore. I'm all done. So I'm all out on 52 points. So quite happy with that. It's kind of it was looking better at a few points. We if Watkins had not got that card, and if Ferguson, I don't know, I think he got booked or he lost a few points. You always follow those bonus points. You think, I'm gonna get bonus these players, and then you don't. So that's a bit. But yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. I didn't. I was kind of before the game week. Only made one transfer. I bought Saliba in for cash, which worked out pretty well in the end because cash obviously. We'll talk about it in a minute, but didn't really register, and Saliba got 6, so that was good. I didn't go down the Mbeumo, Eze, or Solanke routes. I did bring in Solanke and Eze for my son, who was very annoyed about the fact that I did that because he was away for the weekend. So I did a bit of management of his team, and he had 2 free transfers, and he had some players to get rid of. Yeah, he's not happy with me because they didn't do very well. But yeah, 52 points, green arrow. Up about 100k, so I'm sort of 450k at the moment. Hopefully shouldn't lose too much ground in that tonight because I don't think there's a lot of.
Unless people have like Leno does a masterclass or Wang Hee
Chan.
That's true. Probably.
That's true. Leno. I wasn't really thinking. It could be Leno. I know that a few people have Huang.
Yeah.
But how about yourself? How's your week?
Pretty good so far. 64 points. Yeah. With Lascelles coming.
Are you a Gordon owner? Are you a Gordon
owner?
Yes,
I am a Gordon owner. Yes.
And Lascelles?
And Lascelles coming off the bench for Jared Bowen.
Oh my God, this is going to be a jam fest. Well, congratulations. So Gordon, I'll give you. Lascelles, not so much.
I mean, last week I had 15 points Simicas on the bench, and he didn't come up. So it is what it
fair enough.
Rings and roundabouts.
Well, me too, but I didn't. You've got well done. That's 64 is a great score this week. I think that's. But what's your rank at the moment? I'm sure it's
no, it's not doing really great though. I went from 1.7 to now 1 million.
That's it's 700,000.
Yeah,
that's huge. So I think if you get inside the first top few 100k around Christmas, you're still in position.
I should be fine. Yeah, that's what. So that's the plan. Let's see how it goes. But we got like 3 game weeks coming in like the next. As soon as game week 14 starts. So. That'll be over in a flash. So we'll talk about all of that as well in terms of how to navigate this fixture swing. But yeah, looking good so far. Promising start after the international break. So let's get straight in to the fixtures. So let's start with the opening kickoff where Manchester City played Liverpool. It ended in a draw with Haaland and Trent getting the goals. What did you think about the game?
Well, there's 2 perspectives always, isn't there? There's what you think about the game and what you think about FPL. As a game, on a wider footballing level, it was interesting. I think it said a lot about both teams. It said Liverpool are going to contend. I don't think this is by any means the strongest Liverpool side ever. I think they were so strong with Mane and Salah those years, and lucky not to win more maybe. And as an Everton fan, that's saying a lot. And they had strength in midfield. Even Henderson, who's a bit rubbish, was useful for them. But they do look like they're able to get results, and that was a huge result, I think. But also City just don't look. I mean, they're still going to be there or thereabouts, right? So I'm going to turn this off. Trying to be cranky. They don't look. They'll be there or thereabouts, but they don't look as kind of impenetrable as they did before. Like they, this is probably a game in previous years they would have gone on to win from being 1-0 up or, and hit them on the break. And they just don't look as quite. They're still incredible and they're probably still in the league, but I don't think it's going to be at a canter by any
No.
So from a footballing perspective, I thought it was fascinating to see where the two teams were. From an FPL perspective, yeah, I'm happy. I had Haaland and Salah. Haaland captaincy decision just about proved right. I was sort of veering between Haaland and Salah before, and looking at a few other wilder options like Watkins and whatever. But that Haaland was my top scorer. I think, well, maybe Saka got 8 actually. So, but Haaland was. So I was kind of happy with that, especially as Son didn't do much, and Salah got an assist. So, and I had Tsimikas as well, who's on the bench doing for his 2 points. That's the best place to be. So yeah, I was pretty happy from a fantasy perspective. Obviously I'd like it to have been both Salah and Haaland have got a hat trick, but I was pretty happy with that. Did you come out of that well?
Yeah, same with you. Like Salah started, I had Haaland cap as well, and Tsimikas on the bench because I didn't expect Liverpool to keep a clean sheet. So I'm happy with the result. I guess could have been better, to be honest. I was expecting a bit more from Haaland. And we got the news of Alvarez being benched. So I was like, Grealish is going to start. I was like hoping that because that will help Haaland in terms of his attacking returns. But then
who gave that news out? Oh, that newsletter people.
I know.
This is the problem with leaks, right? I mean, it's great. I mean, I don't know if they are great for the game or not. I know that the Premier League doesn't like them a lot, and the clubs don't like it much. Which but what can you do about it? But yeah, no, it's kind of good. I kind of like it when the leak turns out not to be the case, because then people have made it in the leak. And obviously, it was an illness or something that kind of sort of
that put him off.
Yeah, but put him off. But yeah, no, Alvarez is. I know it's not necessarily a topic, but Alvarez is interesting, isn't he? I had him for quite a while, but I kind of lost patience. I kind of. He looked like it's just a no-brainer. He's going to start most weeks. He's up front for City. Crazy price. And then it's just nothing's happened really for too long, and he just can't justify. The only place you probably could just about justify is the forward line, but still that money can be used better, I think, elsewhere at the moment. So yeah, and I think I don't know if we'll get into it separately, but obviously with City, this is exactly the problem. Haaland's going to start whenever he's even half fit. And obviously, Ederson might do, although you're never going to pay for Ederson to keep. But then who else is going to play? You just don't know at the moment. I was kind of looking at it because that's who has been playing, and there's some interesting. There are players. Foden's been getting a lot of game time, but he's not delivering much.
I've owned Foden at the start of the season until game week 10 wildcard. He plays really well for City, just doesn't return FPL wise. So it's frustrating because you see him do stuff, but the points don't come. So you're like, why?
I'm beginning to think that Pep doesn't care as much about FPL as we do. I think he's not as bothered. I know it sounds mad, but I think he's not as bothered. Yeah, no, it's a shame. I was kind of a cheeky look at Silva, but the thing is, there's so many other options in midfield. You just can't justify someone who's not going to deliver regularly. So
the only thing with the blank coming up, it's harder to double up on City as well as go for Mbeumo. But after that, it might be interesting thing to see, because the one thing I took away from this as well is Doku still managed to get 3 BPS without getting any attacking return, which is madness, just because of his pure dribbling take-ons against Trent.
That's a really interesting point. I hadn't picked up on that. I mean, Doku's one of those. Doku's it's Mahrez all over again. Yeah. It is you bring him in, he has a haul, and then nothing.
Yep.
He doesn't start, or he doesn't, do anything. And it's but he obviously has a high point ceiling, as he's proved. If he's going to be hoovering up, BPS, that's definitely interesting.
Yeah, so that's one to consider.
I mean, one to look at maybe once, once a few things change. But so I'm happy enough with it. I mean, Salah's doing what I want Salah to do. I'd like him to do more, but he's chipping in most weeks with points. So, he was good last week. This week was, he's chipping with points. I'm happy enough. I think he's going to have we'll go on to that next, but I think he's going to have a good week next week as well. So,
all right. So let's go to the Liverpool part. With news now coming out that Alisson is potentially out for about 5 weeks following a hamstring injury, which is roughly till the end of the year. Although we're still not confirmed on that news. It's just a rumor for the moment. So that's about 6 game weeks in there, 6 to 7 maybe. Wow. So if you had, let's say, a Salah and a Tsimikas, and you had that third Liverpool spot open, which both of us do, And your goalkeepers were Ariola and Turner, which I think that's mine, but you have Flecken, I believe. Would you make the move to remove maybe Turner for Kelleher, who will probably be the goalkeeper to play? And he's currently 3.9.
I like your confidence. I like your confidence to say, even when you're asking the question, you're already talking yourself out of it, which I like.
Probably because I don't know, because Adrian is also there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's just the problem. I mean, like, you don't know exactly. I think no. I think if you were at the start of the season or you're doing a wild card, or you've got, nothing else to do your transfers, then goalkeeping transfer, this could be a smart move for a short period. Why not? As a second keeper or starting in 1 week, another week, because keepers either start or they don't, right? It's very rare you're going to get a come off the bench. So they're either, it's kind of what you want for a player that you're taking a gamble on. He's either definitely going to play or he's not playing at all. You don't want those 1-pointers. But yeah, I'm behind the news on this, so I hadn't really followed this. But I personally no. I think you'd have to be in a very privileged position where you're happy the rest of your team. You've got a transfer to burn, and you go, well, this might be a good thing. I'm happy with Flecken for the time being. Turner obviously is a problem, but he's not a problem unless Flecken's not playing, right? So, if I was on a wild card and it was just that sort of time, then I could be interested. My son's actually got his wild card, so maybe if he does do that soon, because he's gonna have to do it soon, maybe that will be an option. But yeah, I can't really see it. I mean, I think I'm happy. We've got Liverpool defence covered with the budget with Tsimikas. So, and it's not like Liverpool's defence is kind of guaranteed clean sheets, right? It's not like you go, well, like Arsenal looking at the moment, where it's going to be, even United looking pretty tight, even though they shouldn't be really. But I think I'm happy. Are you? Would you consider it if you had the spare?
I've used one of my transfers for this week already. No, I had only one transfer. I've used it already. Certain Matty Cash has left the building.
Is that Mbeumo, is it?
No,
okay,
yeah. But I have Ariola and Turner, and I just say Ariola every week, conceding clean, not keeping a clean sheet. It's just painful. At this point, I'm just looking at Liverpool's clean sheets, and I'm like, over the next 6 weeks or next 6 game weeks, this guy will potentially outscore Ariola.
And you're right. It could be a nice decision for cumulative points. I guess the thing, we don't get as excited about goalkeepers because their points, unless there's going to be lots of 0-0s or unless they've got really high save points. Often,
the ceiling is not high. Yes, that's
the ceiling's not high. They lose they either get the clean sheet or they don't. I've liked with when it was Raya last year, he was great for
Brentford,
bonus points for the saves. I think there are a few of the goalkeepers. Johnson's been doing very well this season, until recently, at least for Palace. But yeah, no, I wouldn't do it. I think it's an interesting strategy, and it's good to talk about stuff that's not the same stuff that everyone's talking about at the moment. But I personally wouldn't. I certainly wouldn't do it for a hit.
Fair enough.
If you've got a spare transfer to burn, then why not?
Fair enough.
You're booking a transfer in there, right? That's the other thing, because will come back.
Yeah, but then you have to book in a transfer to free up that Liverpool spot if you need it anywhere else. Yes. Yeah, that's probably. True. But then it depends on where the second wild card is being played, roughly at that point.
Are you going straight for January the 2nd? Are you on the early wild card?
No. I'll play my wild card 29, 28, wherever the doubles point to. That's where I'm.
Whenever the double starts coming to play and you start getting those cancellation stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. That's
cool.
So we'll see.
Okay.
So yeah, that's
other injury news.
There's no other in terms of. I think we'll see how that goes. But let's move to Burnley versus West Ham, which again, like you said, other injury news. Jared Bowen not available. You've got Bowen. I've also got Bowen.
Yeah.
What's the plan if he's out? Where would you likely move to?
Very good question, and it is obviously a pertinent question at the moment. We've all been looking at. Everybody's been thinking about. I've had Bowen for a little while. I've been very happy with him. He's been again chipping in with regular returns. Not massive hauls, but just solid each week. And this is a bit of a pain. I had a transfer in mind. My plan had been very much to move from Diaby to either Mbeumo. It was going to be nailed on Mbeumo, and then suddenly Gordon's maybe going, maybe it shouldn't be Mbeumo. So that was been my plan. But I've only got one transfer, and if Bowen is injured, It's all how long, isn't it? Right? It's all how kind of long he's out. Like he is one of those players, a bit like kind of Saka and a few others, who if he can walk, he's on the pitch, right? And he's not someone that's getting injured regularly. He's not someone that's going to be blown over by stiff breeze. So he's a player that if he can play, he'll be on. So I'd really want to see, before I do any move with him, I'd want to see a
press conference.
Be convinced he's out until January or something.
Yeah,
I think if it's a week, I'll hold him. If it's another week, I'd hold him. Even 2 weeks, I'd probably hold him, just because. Also, I've got money tied up in there, and money started to get a little bit tight with some of these moves. So once you've lost 0.3 million or 0.2 million or something from these, it's quite hard to get back, unless you do a big overhaul. So I think the answer is, if we get some definitive news, which we're almost certainly not going to get, that he's definitely out, and looking like for a few weeks, I might take a move then. And it'll be, I'd hold Diaby because it's Bournemouth, and you hope they'll get something out of that, and then and bring in one of the midfielders I'd wanted to bring in for Bowen instead. But I'd be tempted to hold unless I'm really, really convinced it's yeah. So what about you? Where are you thinking?
So for me,
what's your midfield, by the way? I should know this. My research is terrible.
I've got Saka, Salah, Bowen, Gordon, and oh no, I've forgotten my fifth midfielder.
It's obviously a regular starter for you. He's obviously
no, he's a regular starter. Mbeumo, sorry. Yeah.
You've got Mbeumo. So
you're
in a really interesting position, because you've got all the players that everyone wants in. You've done very, despite the rank not being where you want it to be, you have got
the midfield five.
The best midfield five that people would want to have if they could.
Yeah.
Maybe Palmer comes into that when Chelsea's
picture turn, yeah.
But yeah, God, that's interesting. So so moving Bowen out, I mean, question is who to, right? That's the thing. Yes. Who would you go to?
So it depends. Now, I think the one good thing is we have West Ham playing in Europe this week. So there is one press conference that we might get before that. So hopefully positive news maybe. Now, if Moyes comes out and says, oh, he's just out for, let's say, just out for a couple of days, like he'll just miss game week 14. Okay, fine. If he's going to miss like 2 weeks, you're going to miss like a 3 game week stretch within a week.
Yeah, I know. This is the problem this time, isn't it? Little injuries can be out for a whole load. Yeah.
So even though it's a small number of days, it's a big number of, like, it's like 3 game weeks worth of points just gone. In my case, and also like the other thing is, if you look at West Ham's fixtures, 14, 15, 16, 17 are like the good run, and then they face United, Arsenal, Brighton after that. So if he's out for like more than a week, it's a problem. And who do I go to? Might just move to Palmer, to be honest, because that's the next midfield everyone wants.
I mean, that's the fixtures that are coming up, right?
Yeah.
The past fixtures, the ones that are going to come good. But yeah, no, it's a challenge, isn't it? Because Bowen for me, it's not. I wouldn't say completely fixture proof, but I play him in most of those games. I don't see anybody in the next 5 I wouldn't want to play him against that I'd go, oh, got to get him out for that. Yeah, no, okay, interesting. But you've also got Mbeumo, right?
Yes.
Because you've got Mbeumo out. You got Mbeumo and Haaland out in 18.
Yep.
So you can't really be hanging on someone who's not. I mean, it's a long time to hang anyway. But you can't be also having an injured player in that squad.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Down to nothing. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's the one thing I kind of have to fix. We'll see. It depends on. I just hope he's fit. Hopefully, and this problem is not a big issue.
But it's good though. This is what we want. We want to be forced into this. We don't want everyone to have their identikit team.
True.
And I do think, I'm looking at your midfield quite enviously at the moment, because I want both Gordon and Mbeumo, and I'm like, how do I get to that? But yeah, but I've got Palmer already, so I'm not going to get Palmer out. That's mad. Bring him back in again, because I've also got money tied up in him. So it's. I brought him in, and I've missed virtually. I've got one of his kind of falls, but I missed
benched him.
The bench for the others.
Oh, no.
It's disastrous.
Yeah, that's the problem with like the 5 million players. We just think like,
we just like, if you're going to drop something, I can't not play Albert. It's not blah. But yeah, okay, that's interesting. So Bowen, we're thinking it's monitoring. I mean, that's all you can do, and then a decision on sort of Saturday morning. Panic.
Yeah, probably. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. It depends on what we get from Europe and whether he plays or features or comes off the bench, whatever. So yeah,
Fair enough.
that's with Bowen. Let's move into another midfield. I guess you're talking. Newcastle won 4-1 against Chelsea with Reece James getting sent off. So I guess that's a few weeks at least without Reece James conversations. And then Gordon getting a goal and assist, while Lascelles came away with the goal as well. What do you take away from this game? And are you interested in maybe Gordon or Isak as well as options going forward?
So I took a few things away from this game. First thing is that Chelsea's predicted revival may be a bit premature because that was not a great performance, was it? They started well enough, but yeah, they just don't look. I don't know. It's just a weird thing to say. I just it's like I watch my son's football team at the moment aren't doing very well. Last year they won the league, they got promoted 2 leagues and they've lost a few players. And this year struggling like every game. And part of the problem is they just don't look like a team. And I look at that Chelsea and I feel like, oh, there's a great player there. But some of the time they just look like a load of players, and they don't feel to me yet like a team that knows. And that makes sense because there's been a lot of turnover and stuff. But yeah, Chelsea seemed quite easy to knock off their game. Fair enough they had the sending off, but that wasn't the root cause of the problem. I didn't take many points away. That's something I didn't take away. I had 2 each from Palmer and Shah. I had a lot of annoyance for Jamie Lascelles owners. That is the worst thing. Like, Gordon, I get it. I give you that. Lascelles, come on.
I should have got more points on this game because I had Trippier as well, and Joelinton just missed a sitter.
So... Yeah, no, exactly. I mean, I was feeling quite happy at Trippier when the. I mean, because although I've got Shah, once the kind of clean sheet went, I think, well, at least that's Trippier's one of those players every week. I'm like, oh, I haven't got Trippier. I'm worried about this. And so when the clean sheet goes, I feel a little bit more relieved. Although he still, as you said, he played in some great balls in. So yeah, Lascelles owners, that was good. It was so annoying because I know some people just brought him in because like, oh, he's cheap and I need to replace Bowen or whatever. Blah. It's not like, and I probably won't play him. And like you, off the bloody bench. I mean, it's good. It's great when that happens for you. Like, there's nothing better than getting points off the bench. I got a few. I got 5 points from Ewan Ferguson this week. I didn't think was going to come at all. I just brought him in a couple of weeks ago because he seemed like an option people were talking about, and then he didn't play that game. I know he was really predicting to play this game, but he did and he scored. But yeah, that's a nice welcome thing. I had a little bit of Schadenfreude. I did enjoy the Reece James red. Because I know that Raptor and a few others of the kind of content have gone on that, and I was like, yeah, because it seemed a mad time to go Reece James. It seemed like a really way to. We all know the fixture swing is a couple of weeks, right? Why go now? Where it's not hard. Like, Chelsea are conceding tons of goals usually. It's not. It doesn't make sense. So yeah, as I said, I think it confirmed to me Chelsea don't look settled as a side yet. Newcastle are a decent team. I mean, the result 4-1 may be a little bit flattering on them, but the fact that they came from behind and kept pushing, and especially at St James's, they after the result last week, I showed that the character's there, right? Because when you've got a bad result and you've got not done so well in Europe recently, and you've got big games coming up, and then you've got and you go behind, that's the sort of game where some teams could just collapse a bit, but they didn't, and so that was really good. So I'm really impressed with them. I do need to get more Newcastle in, not Lascelles. I can't do it now. It's I know as soon as I bring him in, that'll be the last points he gets all season. Gordon, though, as you already have him, is on my watch list 100%. So he is someone, you mentioned Gordon and Isaac. Gordon is definitely on my watch list. As an Evertonian, as you can see from my little homage wall behind me, it's not big enough yet, but I had a bit of bias because having seen him at Goodison, he was a really talented player. I wasn't too sadly sold him though, because he felt like a lot of the players that come through our ranks, like he had 1-2 great games, but then goes missing, or his temperament's not quite right. But at Newcastle, you can't argue with his form. Fair enough, he's probably got better players around him, a more confident club, whatever. But he's looked very good. So I'm very tempted. Like, I might go DRB to Gordon if I don't go to Mbeumo. Mbeumo's the kind of, everyone's saying Mbeumo.
Should have scored this week though. Him.
I get it. I don't think, but then some of those fixtures aren't as great as one thinks. Like Luton are not pushovers, right? Yeah. Luton are not the pushovers they were. they are, they gave Palace a bloody nose of the day. It beat us. They've looked decent against some of the big clubs. They're not going to get knocked over 4 or 5 goals.
They're not a Sheffield or a Burnley. Out of those 3 promoted sides, Luton are the ones I think have a chance of staying, just because they'll give it, like, they'll make it a mess and a hard game for every single opponent that goes.
Exactly. They're not good. Burnley are trying to play at a level that they don't have the players for, and I respect Company for sticking to that, but he's going to go down with it. Like they just don't have the, they stayed up before. It's awful because you should be able to play attractive football, and Brighton have proved you can do it with maybe a not quite premium squad, but Burnley just don't have the squad to. Sheffield United, I don't know. Luton, as an Everton fan, I'm obviously now in a very different position as I was 2 weeks ago, a week ago, when I was like going mid-table, maybe we can get into Europe this year. And now it's like, bloody hell, here we are again with 10 points off. I won't get into that. I'm not allowed to talk about it, but absolute scandalous decision. But anyway,
I still think Everton will be fine.
I'm looking at Luton going, well, Luton aren't going to be as easy to, because there was always this thing when it happened. It's like, well, those 3 teams are definitely going down. We'll beat United this week and we'll be out of the bottom straight away. And obviously none of those things happened, right? So, sorry, final point you made, Isaac. How long's Wilson out for?
It was about 6 weeks, I think.
Right.
So he's till the end of the year.
So as long as he stays fit, Isaac is the starting forward for the rest of the period. Yeah, on that basis, for that side, I mean, I think he's a good option. And the forward line is where we've all got a bit of space, right? Maybe we don't have the money. That's probably my problem. I don't think I have the money to get to him without making a couple of transfers.
Yeah, same.
If I got rid of Bowen, if I had to get rid of Bowen down to someone, that might give me enough cash to then upgrade from Ferguson, who's my third striker at the moment, to get to him. So I think he's a good shout. I like him as a player. I don't think he's going to score. I mean, he did get 2. He got a brace against West Ham. I was looking through his numbers. I think he'll score regularly. I don't see him as someone that's necessarily scoring every week or coming on with huge hauls. But I think he's a good option. So I go Gordon first, just because it's much cheaper, and I obviously get more points for his goals. But Isak's a good shout as well. But are you thinking Isak? He's not in your team, is he?
No, I can't really go to Isak unless I drop.
I've already got 3 Newcastle.
Yeah, exactly that. And also because even if I didn't, I had Trippier, so money is just tied up there.
You should sell Trippier. Don't worry, you don't need him.
I need him for that fixture. There's like a good
fixture. Surgery. Sell Trippier. Get rid of Haaland. Bring in Isak, and get someone from Sheffield United defence in the centre.
But I'm already locked up, so I can't go there. But I don't mind it for anyone who has like a Alvarez or someone and they're looking to move. Not a bad option to go to. Okay, so moving from there, Chelsea, I guess we wait till the good fixture run starts for them and before we even think about going. Or is the Brighton game tempting enough to target with Dunk also sent off for them?
I mean, the thing is, United aren't. I know United's results have been good, but
they're not. I'll tell you honestly, they're not good at the moment defending.
They're not a good. I know you're a United fan. That's fine. Like yesterday, we'll get on this, I'm sure. But they could easily have lost that game or drawn it. Right? If Everton could have finished one of the like 6 or 7 decent chances we had, it would be a different result. At the end, 3-0 was kind of flattering because you only had like 3 shots on target, I think, and we were chasing the game for the third. So but United that first half. They were second best team. Garnacho scores an absolute worldie. He's never going to do that again. He's never going to do it in his entire career. If he goes another overhead kick this season, I am 100 quid to charity of Scout's choice. It's not happening, right? So, but fair. But they're still winning. United. That's kind of, in a way, it's kind of admirable. But I don't see United as a team you can't get something against. If you
I agree. The one thing is, I don't know why, but for some reason, Chelsea have a horrible record at Old Trafford. They haven't won since like, I don't know, 2013 or something. They have a very bad record at Old Trafford for some reason the last couple of years.
Fair enough. I mean, Old Trafford's a hard place to go.
Although this is a way worse team, though. Yeah, that's the one thing.
You're top of the form team. You're top of the form. We'll come on to that in a minute, but you're top of the form at the moment. So, it's all very well saying they're not playing very well, but they're winning, right?
Yeah,
so
that's true.
You were saying, So, but I don't. My point about that, the reason I got into that was that Yeah, I think Brighton, without a chunk of players at the moment and looking defensively, certainly not great. United, I don't think that it's crazy to go if you're going to go into Chelsea now, if you need to. So if you were going to go Bowen, going Bowen to Parma wouldn't be insane if you had that move to make. But obviously it starts in game week 16 is when supposedly but obviously games never work out like that. But yeah, I don't know. So sorry, what were we talking about? I've got distracted. So
is it worth getting Chelsea players just early, or just wait for the fixture run, basically?
I think for me, I've got other problems to solve right now, especially Bowen's out as well. So I could go Bowen to Sterling. That'd be a real throw.
That was another punt I was thinking of. Like, instead of going for Palmer, just go for Sterling. But Palmer has penalties.
Sterling's he's doing all right. I was trying to look at his points. He's kind of like, he's not on everyone's radar, but he's been, when they score, he's kind of involved. How many points he got? So he's at 66 points. So where's that in the? Yeah, he's doing. I mean, look, he's got every last 3 weeks. He's got something every week. He's got he's in quietly in form for not crazy, but yeah, Sterling's not a bad shout. I think I would, despite that, I probably would be tempted to hold because I've got other problems on. If you've got a slot and you've not got anything to fix, and you don't want to go crazy Liverpool goalkeeper move, then looking at Chelsea now is not mad. But yeah, who's it you're looking at? You're looking at Palmer. He's the one everyone's gone to because he's cheap as well and he's in form. Sterling's a good option. But beyond that, who is it? Like defensively, obviously
Cole
James
maybe
out there.
Yeah.
Colwell's cheap as well, isn't he? Colwell is starting. Although he only played 15 minutes.
So I don't know whether that was like a return from injury situation or tactical. I'm not really sure where that stands. But then Cucurella is out for the next game because of suspension.
Thiago Silva. I mean, they've got a lot of injuries in defence, haven't they? My God, Chalobah, Fofana, James is off, obviously suspended. Chilwell's out. Gusto, who I have, is flagged, but I don't know. That was a legacy from earlier in the season when he was playing instead of Reece James. But yeah, the thing is, we all got burnt, or most people got burnt on Nicholas Jackson, right, early in the season, where he did precisely nothing for virtually 5 or 6 weeks in a row after looking okay at the start, and then obviously that hat trick against Spurs was huge. But again, I don't know, the player we're waiting for Chelsea, and this could be an interesting thing if the injury is right, is Nkunku. If Nkunku suddenly comes into that team, because they're saying 3rd of December, so that would be just before this.
Yes.
Obviously, whether coming back 3rd December means that's when you start training, whether that means that's a realistic playing time, I don't know. So he's been out for since the start. So, but he is someone that could come in,
and change the template if he starts firing. Yeah,
and that would be really exciting, I think. So yeah, I don't know, but I think because, and that's another reason to wait, kind of.
Yes,
because you've got if suddenly he comes in and you're going suddenly, rather than Sterling, and maybe I should have got Nkunku. Then yeah.
And I don't know where he plays. Does he play the striker spot? Does Jackson get benched? Does he play number 10 and there's Palmer move left wing?
Well, again, that's the other thing. I mean, Chelsea needs to buy a striker, and they bought lots of non-strikers. So it's a bit like Everton years ago when we really needed a striker. We bought loads of attacking midfielders in the same position. It was mad. It isn't easy to get great strikers, but yeah, I don't know. If he plays, you'd want him to play in that striking role, right? But because Palmer's been up there for a few of the games, hasn't he? He's been playing quite far.
Yeah, just below like Jackson. So I don't know. We'll wait and see what happens. But that is something that might change how we look at Chelsea players as well, to be honest.
I do think Brighton are a team. Are a team not to target necessarily, but they're a team you shouldn't be afraid of going up against at the moment. They've got players out. Defensively, their whole strategy was kind of a bit Brazilian, score more than you concede, it felt like, and that's right now. Yeah, I can see them leaking a ton of goals still.
Yep, fair enough. Okay, let's move to Spurs, who lost their 3rd game on the bounce, and now they face City next. With Son and Porro, do we continue to keep the faith in their players, or is it now time to sell?
Well, I have 0 Spurs players. I shall not be changing my position on Spurs this week. Spurs are starting to look a bit more Spursy now, aren't they? They, after being up there as a title contender, and they, still are. They've started to revert a bit more to the mean of what Spurs has been, historically. It's a decent team, but fallible, and obviously they've got big players out. So it kind of makes it. I had Maddison, and I was happy enough with him. He wasn't pulling up trees, but he was delivering steadily. I did have Udogie briefly, but I took him out fortunately before he got sent off. So that was fortunate. And yeah, at the moment, I'm just not that tempted to go back in. My boy's got Porro in his team, and which I advised him on, and that's worked out okay actually, even though he criticised me for bringing him, but he's done quite well for him. But he's probably the only player that I might be tempted if I had space in defence to look at, because you want right now, there's just not that many clean sheets going, so you kind of want, as you always do want, but you want defending players that have attacking potential. So I think Porro is definitely one of those. Son is, I love Son. He's a fantastic player, really talented, and obviously he's now up front. He's on pens, whatever. But he's still for what's been returned. He's very expensive, I think, right now. I just don't have a way to get to him. The only time I can look at that is AFCON, is when Salah's out.
Oh, but he's out for AFCON because he's going for Asia Cup. He's out there as well.
Oh, is it Asia Cup?
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
I was looking at that. So I was in my head. So so I'm not going to do that.
Yeah.
I'll be the one player that brings in Son and goes, hurrah, he's not playing the game. So of course it is the Asia Cup. Why do they have all these tournaments? It's like there's so many bloody international breaks. Just shoehorn it into that. But no, I'm sure the AFCON. We were just talking about this morning. We're going to do there's a fantasy AFCON game coming together at the moment. We're going to do a bit of coverage on both Scout and FFC. So so that could be quite exciting. But yeah, I don't know about Asia Cup. We're doing that yet, but we'll see. But yeah, he's gone. Sorry, he's gone. So that's not a move I'll be making. Thank you. I was just in my head going, I was kind of thinking of the scenario that I would bring in Spurs players, and that was it. But now that's not it. So yeah, I at the moment I can't see it. I can only see maybe Porro's the person I'd invest in, but I just didn't know if you've got them. If you've got Son. If you've got Porro, I'd probably hold him. If you've got Son, again, I'd probably hold him unless you've got something you desperately want to do. It's a lot of money though. He's nearly 10 million. But did he start at 9.5? I presume he did.
Yeah, but now he's like
he started at 9.
Yeah,
started at 9, so not 9.5. So he's gone up a lot, hasn't he? So yeah, I can't say. Yeah, he's got 84 points. So I'll shut up. He's delivered more than I thought.
It's a tough one because he's playing out of position, number 9 striker. Came away with a hat trick of offside goals, even though that doesn't count for points. But those are the fine margins.
From an XG perspective, I'm absolutely wrong, aren't I? So now looking at it, I was looking at his points going, my God, I because I've not owned Son the entire year. So, you don't look, we just kind of brush aside the successes of other players. But yeah, he's had some huge hauls, and obviously we know he can do that. Up until the last 3 game weeks where is nothing, but then he's not got Maddison anymore, right? He's not got the same players around him providing. And you think from Chelsea the way they are, obviously that was a crazy game, right? Wolves and Villa, you think those are fixtures you'd hope for something, right? Certainly more than City. But in the crazy topsy-turvy world of Big Ange, maybe he pulls off some insane result. I don't know, but yeah, no, I keep them. I keep them both, but I wouldn't be too keen to invest.
Don't buy, don't sell kind of situation.
Yeah,
fair enough.
He's only second behind Salah. I'm totally I know he had a couple of good weeks. I didn't realize it'd been that good. So yeah, okay, I'll shut up. So yeah, as you say. Underlying, he's getting the opportunities. He just needs a bit of luck with VAR outside. Right, sorry, I'm dragging this on a bit.
No worries. All right, so yeah, I think don't buy, don't sell. Although I do like Porro as an option for defensive player, anyone who's looking. Don't buy Son during the AFCON. That's another trick. Yeah, exactly. During the Asia, don't buy Son. Now, talking about defensive players and why I think Porro is also nice. Matty Cash started at right wing but got hooked off at halftime alongside DRP. Managers who have those Villa players, what's the plan going forward? Now, you said you already sold Matty Cash before this game week. I just hooked him off this game week after this game week.
Sorry about that.
What do you do if you had?
Well, I did. I had a Villa. I had three Villa because I'd been very impressed. I had Watkins, Diaby, and Cash. And Cash did okay initially, and then I think I probably missed his real golden period. So yeah, I did Cash to Saliba last week. I looked at a few options, and I just wanted to be. I didn't have an Arsenal defender, right, and only had Saka, so I wanted to get into the Arsenal defense. So that seemed like the move. It's not the most exciting move, but it seemed like the smart move, setting myself up. So I did that. I'm obviously got quite lucky that Cash didn't get anything. Derby's on my replace list, so I think it is time to look beyond Cash. I don't think he's an awful player suddenly or an awful option, and Villa do have Bournemouth next match, but then you've got City, Arsenal, Brentford. Brentford could be anything, and Sheffield. You've got the next three after. If you're looking to move, you either hang on for the next match and think, will we get something out of Bournemouth away? Who are actually Bournemouth, are looking better though. Or you kind of or you move now. So I would probably, if you haven't got Arsenal defence, I think you kind of need Arsenal defence. Look at Arsenal fixtures ahead as well: Wolves, Luton, Villa, Brighton, and they're just looking tight. Even without the odd spawny goal, they're looking tight. So I think you've got to have some Arsenal defence in there. So if you haven't, then Cash is that sort of value of player that can get you to a Saliba or at least a Gabriel or somewhere. So that's kind of why I'd do that. So I think who did you go to with Cash? What was your move?
I have Arsenal defense. I've got the Newcastle defense as well. I've got Tsimikas. So because of that, I was like, I'm not starting Cash this week when I have Tsimikas, Trippier, and Gabriel. So I went completely in the left field, and I've gone for Toffolo from Forest.
You've been listening to Black Box. You've been listening to bloody Black Box.
I haven't listened.
It's Mark. He's got in your head. You don't do it. Don't do it. He gets in your head. His little earworms.
Don't worry. I haven't been
any of them. Yeah. Not any chance.
So I'll tell you the reason I went. Because I went on to this is a plug for members area in Scout.
Yes.
And he's like one of the top defenders for XGI. 0.85 I think in the last 6 game weeks. Got a decent number of big chances and chances created when you look at wing backs in general. And I was looking at their defensive record, both home, away, and also for the season. It's not too bad. And when you look at the teams that they've played all the top big 6. So that does impact.
And they've got Everton, Fulham, Wolves, Spurs, and Bournemouth the next 5.
And they have Bournemouth in Game Week 18.
A great run of fixtures there, although they're bound to lose. Let's face it, what a great team they are. But they've got a decent run. No, that's a good shout. And looking at it, he's got 3 assists already as well. So yeah, interesting. That's sort of the problem. The only problem with those sort of moves, and I think you're right. I like you thinking that way. He's obviously got you some money back as well from Cash. So that's great. Cash in the bank is he's good. But when are you actually going to play him? When's he going to see the light of day?
That's true. So I did think of it that as well. And because of the way the defense is structured for me, the opportunities for him to start are either potentially Game Week 15 because I do have Tsimikas and I will tell you, I don't think Tsimikas is starting all 3 game weeks in the space of a week.
No, this is true. This is likely,
So probably Toffolo plays one of that. Game Week 18 against Bournemouth because he has to kind of play because I have Mbeumo and Haaland. So against Bournemouth is not a bad fixture, I feel like. And then Liverpool play United in 17. So I don't know if I'll start Tsimikas for that. Forest have... Oh no, I won't start Tsimikas. I won't start Toffolo as well because I'll start Lascelles in that. So you probably start Game Week 15 and 18.
No, it's good.
Not too bad, I guess. 4.4.
You've got 2 kind of 2, so you can play through or you can go up to 4 if you want. You've got 2 defenders that kind of. No, okay, I like that, and they're cheap as well. 4.4.
Yeah, my issue was I could only go down. I didn't have money to go up, so I couldn't go to like a Saliba and double Arsenal defense. I could have gone to Zinchenko, but he's almost like Another the thing I didn't go for Zinchenko was that Gameweek 18 fixture against Liverpool.
Yeah.
So I wanted someone who had a decent fixture in that game week.
No, absolutely. And Zinchenko is a little bit of a fixture of a selection.
Yeah,
well,
that's the problem. Yeah.
He's getting decent points and getting this kind of bonus and stuff, but he's and he's getting forward obviously, but yeah, he's not, he's a sort of player that can just suddenly not appear on the team sheet. Okay, interesting. So Matty Cash gone. What about Diaby? You haven't got Diaby.
No, I don't have Diaby. Yeah.
So I'm thinking Diaby's Diaby, as I said, was before the Bowen or aside from the Bowen issue, Diaby's probably my transfer out. So yeah, and that's going to be either to Mbeumo or Gordon. I can just do to Mbeumo now, but if Mbeumo goes up again, I can't. So I'll be monitoring that closely. I was going to do it when I saw Mbeumo going up the night, but I thought, it's crazy. If I do it now and Mbeumo's going to get a knock or someone's going to be out, there'll definitely be another problem. And ultimately, I'm as happy to go to Gordon as I am to Mbeumo. I'm not quite. I know Mbeumo's on pens. I know he's playing up front for Brentford, and I like him. I had him earlier in the season. I'm not as quite as sold on him as everyone else is. I don't know why that is. I'm just something about him doesn't quite convince. I like him as a player. I think but yeah, and he's obviously delivered in bursts. He seems like one of those players who get 2 or 3 in a row of, and then nothing. He's not like a Kane type every match delivering something, or a Bowen has been doing that. So yeah, I don't know. If I can't go to Mbeumo, and I'm not going to make the transfer early because I just, especially with the Champions League week and not knowing the Bowen news, I just want to hold off for as much information as I can. So if that means I'm priced out of Mbeumo, then I'll just have to live with it.
Okay.
I'll probably go to Gordon instead, which will get me a bit more cash in the bank as well. So yeah. I do one thing just to say on that. You mentioned Forest. I know we'll stop. I'm going forward, but people have been excited about Eze. I get that. That's another option in the midfield. If you want to come out of Diaby. He looked great.
He's injured though, but yeah,
he's injured. But yeah, he's gone off injured, so we don't know what with him. The other player I was looking at, and he's just kind of appearing in my sort of rear view mirrors a little bit, is Gibbs White.
Yeah,
but he's quietly ticking over, looking like I know Mark's a huge advocate of his, and so I was kind of going on about it a lot. But with Forest fixtures coming up, if you're ever going to go for Forest, as you have, then he seems an option. There's also even cheaper, I think, or is even cheaper as Elanga. I'm slightly less convinced by Elanga, but maybe that's a crazy left field move is into the Forest midfield.
Yep, fair enough. I think that's fair point because Gibbs White is on penalties as well for Forest.
Yeah, exactly. That's another penalty. That's the thing. If you've got all the, I think it's possible to have scoring, taking mids. Yeah, it's great. Yep. Cool.
All right. Moving on. Manchester United finally scored more than 1 goal a game. It also included a goal of the season contender from Garnacho. They, however, still conceded a huge amount of XGC. There's still some managers with like Dalot or Bruno Fernandes. Do they even continue to hold, or would you sell them with a good run of fixtures now over?
I think it's unfair that I've guessed it. I don't go into many podcasts. I come on.
Yeah.
This game with a United fan. I mean, obviously, there's a lot of it. This is so gutting.
I will be realistic and say that the last couple games that they've kept clean sheets have been. They've made it hard work. They've been kind of lucky. They probably shouldn't have kept clean sheets. And I think they're probably going to have a hard game against Newcastle. And I think
Newcastle are a bit more clinical. If you come up with someone that's quite clinical up front, then you might struggle. I think if we had the finishing power, we had Calvert-Lewin had a good game, but Decore missed a sitter ride. I think Onana made a hell of a save from. I don't know. It was maybe
he made quite a lot of saves. I think.
Right. He did really well. Yeah, and. Yeah, so I don't know. I'm not a massive fan of Fernandes. I had him at the start of the season, and then he just disappointed, and so I kind of got rid. I know he has the potential, and and he's a talented player. I just don't. He's just not one of those players I like to hold in and put up with very long. And I don't, like I said, I think what's happening at the moment is United are winning without looking that good. Now, They could have won that 1-0. It could have been 1-1. It could have been any score, really. 3 is a flattering 100%, but fine. They were clinical, and that's really the difference.
Yes, that's the one difference they've been compared to like the rest of the season. They've been creating chances, but they haven't put anything away. This week they were, I would say, efficient with their finishing. That's the
fact that did Martial get? I mean, the fact we get.
Yeah. It's a good record against Everton.
We're like helping players back to the, it's like Rashford, Martial. We're giving everybody giving them a chance. I think, I think United will come up against someone. I don't see them keeping this clean sheet run going, I guess, from the eye test. But I am sort of reminded of looking back to the United teams in the past, and people have got these kind of rose-tinted glasses of how amazing Ferguson's teams were, and often they really weren't. Like, there were some great teams and great performances, but he perfected the art of winning ugly a lot of the time. And when he was building teams, or certainly later in his career when he didn't have the same talent, he did what was required to get the result. And it might be 1-0. It's the sort of thing that Moyes did at Everton, actually, kind of keep it tight and just kind of have enough talent that the breakaway score. And I think it feels to me like at the moment that United are very much a team still in transition, I don't know, in process, right? So, but they are winning, and as you said, they're top of the form table. So it kind of betting against them feels a bit kind of churlish and hard. I'm not Dalot. I know. I think Let's Talk Andy brought Dalot in, and he was quite happy with it. Obviously, I wouldn't sell Fernandes necessarily, and I wouldn't sell Dalot. I'm not sure I'd be rushing to bring them in. But what's Dalot? 5 million.
5 million. Yep.
That's there's a lot of other options there. I don't see him getting assists every week. That's just one for the season, right? And I'm not as convinced they're going to keep a lot more clean sheets. I think in the next few games they could easily, not keep one really. Who they're up against? Got Newcastle away. That's going to be tough. Chelsea, you say do well against. That's fine. Bournemouth probably going to be okay. Liverpool, not so much. So, yeah, I don't know. You haven't got any?
No, I have 0. That's how much faith I have.
Yeah, that's good.
I was thinking of Maguire, but that's the thing. But I think the good fixtures are gone, and that now the clean sheets are not going to come. You probably have to think about it again, like New Year or something like that. But for the moment, no. Now, captaincy. Upcoming week, we've got big decisions with a lot of popular options available this week. Where are you looking to put the armband, and who else do you think could be good alternatives?
You say there's a lot of popular options. I'm not as convinced there is. I think it's a tough win again.
Yeah.
I think it's good. I think like last season's kind of Haaland-a-thon was pretty boring.
Yeah.
And obviously the big fella's still up there. Home against Spurs is kind of hard to. It's hard to not think this could be this could be a hat trick. But yeah, so he's got to be in there every week, obviously in the contention. I think if he went Haaland, I think that's a sensible option. I'm probably going to go Salah at the moment. I'm leaning towards Salah. My bus team captaincy's on Salah. I just think home to Fulham's is the sort of game that Liverpool could really turn it on, and get up a bit of a cricket score, sort of 4 or 5 or 6. Although they aren't destroying teams quite as they used to when they had the Salah Mane balance, which was, as an Everton fan, it pains me to say, but it was so good because you just couldn't sit on one of them because the other guy would just tear you apart. So so I think that's that. But I'm not. What's the other options? I mean, for me, what is it? Mbeumo at home to Luton? Maybe
they're all probably left field. Yeah.
I mean, Saka's not scoring. He did get 8 points. So if you go on Saka this week, I think it was 8. You would have got more than Haaland.
Yeah.
So that. But he's not. He's just ticking over, Saka. Certainly not the player you want to sell, but he's not coming in with big hauls or lots of goals. So I don't know, and I don't know if I would. Wolves aren't rubbish.
Watkins against Bowen.
I don't see Arsenal scoring that many at the moment. Maybe Jesus will change that, but then also he'll probably, if he does, he'll. I don't know if Jesus or Jesus, whatever. I don't know if he kind of opens up the options for Saka at all or not. Who do you see then? Who do you see apart from those top two?
So I'm going to go with Haaland most likely, and that might still be a slight more EO play because I had a pretty bad 4 game weeks before this game week, and I'm just going to steady my ship in terms of because of where I'm at in my rank. Haaland is still the most highest EO cap regardless of fixture at the moment. And like I can have Salah and still get points from him without even having to captain him for the moment. It's when you get into the higher ranks that then the captaincy swings really you can see a difference. So like if Salah is the popular captain, he will be the popular captain in the higher ranks. And that's where the EO switches. So I'll probably just keep it on Haaland with Salah vice captain.
Yeah, Haaland's a safe captain, right?
Yeah.
But you're saying there's other popular options.
I guess you could go left field in a Watkins potentially, but they haven't been great away from home. But it is Bournemouth, so it's a decent fixture for attacking option.
Yeah.
Saka, I am not confident in Arsenal attack just yet to go there. And then again, you have Mbeumo, who's a full left field option against Luton. That's it basically, I would say, for the moment.
Yeah, I think there is. It's really good. There's a conversation, but I still think for me it's between 2 options. Obviously, if you haven't got Salah, which not everybody has, then maybe you're looking elsewhere. But you're not. It's not a week for going Son, for instance. You're not going to do that. So, yeah, I think people that haven't got Salah are just going to go Haaland, and I think people that have Salah will do a coin flip between them probably. So yeah,
cool.
So yeah, so that's it.
That's it. So thank you for your time today. Do you have anything to plug?
Plugs, yeah, I always have something to plug. I've got my lovely line of knives. No. So what I was going to say. So obviously, I'm part of the Scout team, and we are pushing Fantasy Football Scout memberships always. The original and best fantasy membership for you to get all the data and extra articles and content and tools, predicted points, team planners, all that great stuff to help you improve your game and wrangle over it even longer. So all that good stuff is always available. But right now we've got a crazy offer. We've got a free trial. So I think it's a 7-day trial. We get a free gift. Everyone who signs up right now gets this gift worth £12, which is insane. So if you like, if you've kind of signed up to a weekly, you get a thing that's worth more than a weekly already. Sorry, a monthly, not a weekly. And also it's 20% off the full price still. So free trial, free gift, 20% off. We do also have, aside from that, our own brand new merch store, which we've just launched, which this is not in yet, but we're going to try and get these in. But we have some really cool kind of hats and hoodies and mugs and t-shirts, really quite classy stuff, actually. Quite so hats off quite literally to Ed, who's kind of has led the charge on that. And because it's this crazy Black Friday, Cyber Monday, whatever, we currently have a 25% launch kind of offer off that, which will end at some point this week. So if you want to get some merch for Christmas for yourself or some other people or whatever your festive holiday is of whatever denomination you are, then there's a good chance to have a look at that. And if you've not got a membership, then do that. I think the other thing we're going to add this week, which we're working on at the moment, is a gift membership. So that's another thing we've been looking at for a little while, haven't done, whereby you'll be able to gift a membership to someone else that's a fantasy nutcase in your family if you want to, and you get like a 1-season membership basically for that. So check that out. You can link to that from the site, or I'm sure you'll put a link somewhere, but it's linked prominently from Fantasy Football Scout UK, and for both of those things, the merch store and the memberships.
Awesome.
I think that's it.
Awesome.
I'm not selling anything else. I'm selling hope. I'm selling hope for Everton, and I'm also hoping that we can get a bit of a discount on our a Black Friday discount on our points reduction, because 10 points seems a little bit stiff.
True. I'm still waiting for the day that City get all that 100 and whatever number of charges on them, but that's for another conversation.
Yeah, I'd be prepared to make a bet that those points are not
the same. Yep.
In the same way.
Yep. There we go. And you can also find me, Football Chatbox, on YouTube, where I do weekly videos and deadline streams. And that's it for this week's Scout the Game Week. We'll be back after Game Week 14 and looking ahead to probably Game Week 15 or 16, because it's midweek fixtures. I still need to decide how we're going to do that for next week. But yeah, we will be back next week. Thank you all for watching. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to hit the like button, subscribe as well to the Scout YouTube channel. And comment down below in terms of if you have any questions. I'll answer. I'll be on the chat answering any questions on YouTube. And if you're listening on Spotify, hit the follow, 5-star review, all of the good things. And thank you to Chris as well. Make sure to follow him on Twitter. And thank you all for watching and listening.
Don't follow me on Twitter. I'm not
Okay,
a very
don't
good
follow
Twitter.
him on Twitter.
Follow Fantasy Football Scout and follow Ryan. I'm not. I get involved in all sorts of stuff on Twitter, so you don't want to follow me on round.
Cool. Then you can follow Scout and me on Twitter. And thank you all for watching and listening. And we'll see you all later. Green Arrow as well.